Hey YouTube, welcome to Beyond the Hype, and this is a series I created to look at Pokemon with new moves or buff moves to tell you whether they are worth investing in, because a lot of times when these Pokemon get buff moves, everyone's so excited and then it's highly ranked and then they play it and it's like, oh, maybe this isn't as good as I thought it would be. So this is the series to stop you from investing in something you may not need. But Shadow Scizor is one that I really enjoy playing. I think the ranking is kind of interesting, and it depends how you want to play it, because the rankings on PvPoke are in the one shield even energy scenario, which is not how you probably would play this Pokemon. You almost always have to play this Pokemon with shield advantage. So Shadow says, so does Shadow matter? Yes or no? It does, because the reason that you want this Pokemon is because Bullet Punch got buffed, the damage got buffed, and it has Fury Cutter, which if you want a faster charging move, sure. But really, the strength of this Pokemon is a 5.76 damage per turn with same type attack bonus. So that damage in itself is insane, right? So when you get something that damage worth, but still charges at 3.5, it is a fantastic combo. Now, I glossed over it, but I need to go back to it. This thing's a glass cannon, and it's a glass cannon before you add on the Shadow, right? So this is why you use the Shadow for this. You have 137 attack, 110 defense, 106 stamina. You can already not take many moves with that defense and stamina combo. You're very attack heavy, so if you're going to be glass cannon, be the super glass cannon, especially when the main thing you're doing is fast move damage. So bumping up that Shadow attack, so this is like almost 140 base. You're looking at like another 28 on top of that. So you're up to 165 attack, and then a very, very low like 90 defense and 106 stamina. The typing is great. You only have one weakness in fire, double weak to it, and then a bunch of resistances. So the same typing as Fortress, which I kind of already went over. Why it's so strong. Double resist poison, double resist grass, single resist steel, psychic, normal, ice, fairy, dragon, bug. Love the typing. Fantastic. If you're going to be a glass cannon, be the glass cannon. I don't mind about that. Now, the moves. What makes Pokemon kind of interesting is it had moves exactly what it needs to already get stronger for what it is. That was terrible English, but let me explain. Bullet Punch is such a fast damage move, but you're so glassy, you need to be able to, 1, spam charge moves, and 2, if you can, just make that Bullet Punch do more. And that is exactly what you get with Night Slash and Trailblaze. So Night Slash, you have a 12.5% chance to boost your attack times 2, and it's 35 energy. Again, 60 damage in itself is not amazing, but still, any chip is good when your fast move damage is the main thing. And Trailblaze guarantees that attack boost. So you basically use Bullet Punch, any sort of neutral matchup, you just kind of ramp up over Shield. So I'm going to show you. So the team build, in my opinion, is easy. How to play with it is easy. Don't do what I do in the first two matchups. I want to show these first two just to show how stupid I was. Shadow Scizor, you need something for fire, which you're double weak to, and you just need bulk. So Lapras as a water Pokemon and Dusclops as a bulky Pokemon. Lapras, Dusclops both bulky. So very easy to play it. Use shields on Scizor and use Dusclops and Lapras to absorb the charge moves. So we have a matchup up here. Bullet Punch is resisted, but so is the Bug Bite. So I'm going to just boost my attack right away with Trailblaze. Could go Night Slash, but I just want to guarantee that boost of attack. And I'm like, okay, they may have Bubble Beam, so I don't need to show that. They have Water Pulse, and out we go, because we can definitely not take any move. So then, okay, I'll come in here and play this out. But already you're in a position of not where you want to be. The strategy with Scizor is shields, take switch, and use Dusclops and Lapras as sponges. So in this one, not only did I not use that on Scizor, I got chipped on Dusclops, and now I have a rollout user with Rock Slide on my Lapras. So all sorts of bad. Dunsparce is kind of an interesting one, actually. Not a ton of fighters. I mean, there's just a normal amount of fighters. Like, fighters didn't get buffed or nerfed or anything. So just the normal amount of fighters and your only weakness. But a lot more bug. So now rollout and more steals, drill run. And not a bad Pokemon to kind of make its way back here. So we'll I just have tough alignment on this one, and then a ghost is resisted on normal typings. So now I have a ghost here, and they have their Encore Soul in the back, and just think this is just too bulky. So I'm going to lose this one here. And I make the same mistake in the next matchup, despite having what is otherwise a pretty okay lead, as you're going to see coming up here. And then I kind of realize, oh, why do you have a strategy and you're not using that strategy? So here we go. Scizor into Drapion. Bullet Punch, neutral. Poison Sting, resisted. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just an Aqua Tail. I can live an Aqua Tail. And then they throw the Crunch and leave me with like 2 HP. And I'm just like, oh yeah, this Crunch is normal on a neutral on a Steel Bug. So they come in with theirs. So I just chip it. But again, not the scenario I want to be in, right? And I know this thing has Night Slash, but Bug is resisted. So I'm coming in here. Why I'm over farming so much, I don't know. I should be like trying to grab a shield here. I don't know why I shielded the first Night Slash. So clearly just not playing well right off the bat here. But do get it back together as we move forward here. So gonna throw this Shadow Punch. They have a Dragonair. I probably should have baited here. I should have known they would have shielded this up. But they're putting a lot of fast move pressure on me here with the Dragon Breaths. And now, because I guess I'm still in the mentality of, you're going to save shields. Does not matter when they Dragon Pulse you. Do not see that often on Dragonair, so can't totally be faulted for that. But yeah, that did a lot of damage. Only going to get to Sparkling Aria. This will chip, and now we are in a Dragon Breath versus... it's not... Jesus. It's not Astonish, it's Hex. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Dedenne. I am going to play this out, and I'm going to shield. Look at me. Look at me making plays that you're supposed to play. Okay, and out comes Corviknight. So I will bank that and save that energy and start just trying to chip and trying to do some damage on with Dusclops, knowing that Dusclops is basically a sacrificial lamb here. See how much I can chip. Take these moves. I have a ton of energy on Scizor. So they're just going straight Iron Head. Get to the next one here. They shield, which is a little surprising, and then they get into Feraligatr. So I kind of like that combo that they shield. I mean, I don't like what they did, but I like it from my perspective that they shield, burn one shield, show me the Feraligatr. Lapras in here can resist the Hydros and the Ice Beams and just be able to chip a bunch with the Sideways Sparkling Aria. Will not take out, but maybe I can just Sidewave down and come out with energy and then just shield advantage slash, yeah, just take all the energy I have on Scizor and just kind of run through the back end here. So that's exactly what happens. I do farm down. I do have a Sparkling Aria, so they are forced to dump their energy right away. So I will come in here. I'm already at almost 100 energy. I've got 2.5 Night Slashes in the top left, knowing that I'm just absolutely loaded. This matchup, I do play this matchup out just to kind of see, like, okay, those Bullet Punches are resisted, but they're adding up. And as you're going to see here, 12.5% chance, but when it happens, you are in control here. So I get the double attack boost on an already buffed up, hard-hitting Bullet Punch. So I will force them to use a shield here, or I will take them out. And they let me take them out. And then out comes a Bastiodon, which is neutral to the Bullet Punches because they're half rock. Steel resist. Rock takes super effective to the steel. So these are neutral. Here comes a Night Slash. And because I'm taking neutral to the rock throws, here comes another one. So that buffed up Bullet Punch and that Night Slash get them to the red here. And I grabbed a shield on that one, or that one would have taken them out. And now you just eat it on the Dusclops. So Scizor taking out a Corviknight and the majority of a Bastiodon just to see a Jellicent in the back where I have a little bit of energy advantage on my own ghost Pokemon. So getting to the Shadow Punch. Gonna let this move go. I think it was a Surf. It is, and I live, but I'm not gonna get farmed down here, so I will instant swap into my Lapras. And I will probably shield up a Shadow Ball, just because I know Bastiodon just dumped its energy. So shielding up Shadow Ball. I don't really want to take any more Smackdowns because it is super effective on the ice. So take this out, and then way more health than even one Shadow Ball will not take me out from here. So I will take that matchup. Dusknoir. This is a pretty good matchup just because your pacing is so good to the Night Slash, and Night Slash is super effective. So here comes a Night Slash. It is super effective, so may grab a shield. It does. No attack boost that time. That's okay. I will shield knowing I'm going to get to one more. So if they want to burn 2 shields, so be it. If not, I can take it. And out comes Credilli. And Credilli is Rock, and Rock is weak to Bullet Punch. So I'm just going to stay in this and try to put up some damage with these Bullet Punches. And I do. Holy smokes. Down to the red. This is why this Pokemon's so fun. Again, everyone knows who've been watching me since I created this channel in season 7. Know exactly what type of Pokemon I like to run here. And it is those harder hitting Pokemon like Swamperts and Togedemaru's and stuff like that. So Scizor fits the bill. Scizor is an interesting one because it is more fast move damage focused, and like your Togedemaru's with the Wild Charge and Hydro Cannon Swampers, like those play a little bit differently. This is mostly like you're doing a lot of fast move damage, but you're spamming enough with the charge moves that you can put on pressure with charge moves as well. Not that Night Slash or Trailblaze in themselves put on any damage, but when your Bullet Punch is adding up so much, you put on damage sort of by the ability to like combo those. Now, what's its play going to be in the meta? Because you're basically going to see the same plays now that I kind of taught you how to do it. If you see a fire, you leave. If you see, other stuff that resists, I didn't leave the Corviknight though, because you can just spam Night Slashes. So it depends when I leave and when I don't leave. Other stuff that resists steel is like water resists steel and steel resists steel. So there's options that you should get out of those. The Dene is neutral. I guess electric resists because that, and then so I chip here just to come in and take the resisted moves on Dusclops here. So again, I don't really need to explain the team how to play it anymore because it's the same thought process for the rest of the time. Now, where do I think Scizor is in this meta? Now, let me just run some sims here in the background about because the rankings, Scizor is ranked, Shadow is ranked 42 in the Open Great League. And in the one shield, even energy scenario, 42 in of itself is pretty good. 23 and 20 with a 492 average just in the 1v1 shield scenario. Now, will you run it in the 1v1 scenario? No, I say you should always run it with a shield advantage. So let me take on the 0v1 and then the 1v2 against the Great League meta here. Okay. Great League meta, Scizor with that Shadow. So in the 1v0, when your opponent has 0 and you have 1 shield, 45 and 3. Whew. Losing to the fires. Losing to Talonflame, Skeledirge, and Diggersby. I mean, Diggersby has Fire Punch, of course. So otherwise, everything else you win in the 1v0, and that is just a product of the Bullet Punch adding up in the neutral situations and the stuff where it's resisted, like water, you can use Trailblaze to hit super effective, so when shield's down, it's okay. I'm guessing in the 1v2, you're probably worse, just because there's going to be probably some things that will be able to out bulk and spam you. 43 and 5. Still though, so the fires, Mandibuzz ends up picking you up. And where's your other new loss? Annihilate and Airquinid. So as you can tell, just with the shield advantage, an absolute friggin' beast in this meta. And I think it gets by on a couple things. I think it gets by on Bullet Punch is only resisted by a few things. Steel. I think Electric, because Dedenne is neutral. So Steel, Electric, Water, and Fire. And Fire is the only thing that hits super effective against you. So when you only have one thing that hits super effective against you, a few resistances with your fast move, but enough coverage with the charge moves to deal with that, and charge moves which buff an attack heavy fast move, you definitely have a lot of play in the meta. Now, there's only one way to team build with this. You need two very bulky Pokemon. So I put in Dusclops. Lapras is there. I didn't even check what PV Poke recommends. Let me see what PV Poke recommends. It's got to be something like, I wouldn't be surprised if like Lapras is one of the top ones, just because you need a water Pokemon with bulk to deal with your weaknesses. But maybe they have other Pokemon in mind. Lapras is the number one suggested teammate. Not surprising. Jellicent is number 2. And then Dusclops is actually the 5th. They also recommend Mandibuzz and Glycopod. Glycopod's kind of an interesting one. I guess it is water and deals with fire. Half bug, like Lapras, half ice, half bug, so that it is actually neutral to fire, but not as bulky as the other Pokemon. Jellicent makes sense because of the water and some bulk. Mandibuzz makes sense because just the bulk, and Dusclops makes sense because of the bulk. So not surprising that these are the suggested teammates for this Pokemon. Really, that's what you do. I picked Lapras and Dusclops, didn't even look at this list. It just made sense. I truly just went through my list of Pokemon and I was like, what is my bulkiest one? I almost used Registeel, and then I realized it would have been double weak to fire, so I couldn't do that. But it is very easy to just look through your bulkiest Pokemon. I think I was gonna say Diggersby, but Diggersby is again weak to water, and if Steel resists water, that kind of puts you in a tricky situation here. So I think, I think just Lapras, Jellicent, Mandibuzz, Dusclops, I think those are very, very strong Pokemon to pair this with. Shield advantage. I used it on the lead just because it only has one weakness. I think it's 2 reasons. One is because it only has one weakness, it's easy if you see that weakness, you can just bail. And I think the second reason is if you have a role of the other 2 Pokemon is just to absorb damage, it's easy to like farm up on Scizor and absorb the damage, like swapping to absorb it, as opposed, I mean, you could just theoretically play out the lead no matter what and just play out the lead and potentially lose. Because here's the thing, right? If you're gonna, let's say you put Lapras or Dusclops in the lead. Let's play you put Dusclops in the lead and it is a normal type Pokemon where you're just going to get killed. You kind of have to instant swap into Lapras because you can't stay in that lead. I guess you could instant swap to Lapras. I guess it does not matter where you play it. I just think it's easier to play it on the lead when there's only one fire weakness, and if you see it, you can bail. Plus, it gives you more flexibility depending on the lead Pokemon to make that determination. Like, do I want to try get shield advantage? Do I want to try and take switch here? Am I willing to try this in the 1v2? Or how many shields do I have to burn here? Is alignment worth it in the back? Not that Dusclops and Lapras totally, like, Darks are tough in the back here because Psywave is resisted on Darks and Hex is resisted and Ghost is going to be lit up by Darks. So you have some problems there. I tried to catch there, but it did not work. So it just depends how you want to, what you think is the most important part of Scizor's job. Is it to try to output as much damage as possible, stay in as long as you can, and then just try and sweep when you have no shields left with these bulky Pokemon? Or is it like you want alignment? I don't know. Depends what you want. So I think this is one of the last matchups here. It is a Ting Tong So punch neutral on the fairy, super effect on fairy, resisted on the steel. They go bulldoze. All my charge moves are resisted. Trailblaze and Night Slash are both resisted, so I thought it would just be best to just boost that attack if both my moves are resisted, and I know that I can just shield and farm down. So that's what we're going to do here. They give up switch into Airquinid. This Pokemon is everywhere. I'm probably going to play with it in the next couple days. I think Water Pulse is a must on this. So I have seen this Pokemon multiple times now. And I've seen this Pokemon with Bubble Beam, Water Pulse as the moves both times. Because I think the thought process is you don't really need a Bug Buzz if your Bug Bite is already doing super effective. So, or even neutral. You just want to you'd rather have Water Pulse for a coverage move in case, again, there's all these Pokemon that resist Bug. You need the Water Pulse to actually be able to hit an opponent, and you're so bulky, as you can see here, you might as well just have something that can hit opponents if Bug Bite is resisted. And Bubble Beam provides you a couple things, a bait move, but also one of those that if your Bug Bite is neutral or super effective, you can just lower your opponent's attack, and you're so bulky you don't really need to worry about damage there. And speaking about damage, Bullet Punch neutral on the Water Ice. Gonna get off the Night Slash. Grab that shield. Good chip down here so that when I come in the mirror match here, even if they launch a Sparkling Aria at me, I've already chipped this to this point and grab that shield on that Night Slash. So as long as they don't have as long as they do not have a Skull Bash, which they do not have that, I should be good here. And I think I remember adding insult to injury by catching in the back end here too. So I am throwing because I do not know how much energy this has, plus Psywave is resisted. So just going to take that out. Get off my Sparkling Aria. I could just shield and get to another move. But why shield when you can catch? So make a catch right here. They try to undercharge so they can get a Psywave down, but I have a move anyway, so even the undercharge, not helpful. Take them out here. So yeah, Scizor does have play. We'll see how the meta evolves. We'll see if all these bugs are around. I think the bugs are going to go away, quite honestly. I think Fortress will have some play, but not as much as it does now. I think Glycopod's here to stay. I think Samurot's going to probably go down. I think people are just going to go back to Feraligatr. So I think a lot of the bug-type fast moves are going to go away. There's only a couple bug-type Pokemon. So whether we see more fires... I have not seen a ton of fires yet, considering all the people are trying out bug. Like this Scizor is double weak to fire. Fortress is double weak to fire. So you got a few Pokemon weak to fire. I have not seen a bunch of fires yet. I will probably try Ember Ninetales. But we'll have to see how the meta shapes up as we... Again, I don't think you're even going to get a... I'm going to give my analysis on Monday, how I think the meta is. But I don't think we're going to get a true look at what the meta truly is until we loop back week 4. Yeah. Week 4 for the Great League is probably when we're really going to get an idea of what the meta is going to be like. Because we got Ultra League and Fossil Cup next week. And then Master League Summer Cup. Ultra League Summer Cup at that. So, kind of rough if you do not like Ultra League or Master League. Because that is the only options week 3. But then we're back to the Great League week 4 and 5. So I can see those are the June 24th to July 8th. Those are the times where we will see what the true meta is. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.